Hello, I'm Miranda Kahn. I'm pleased to have with us Bill O'Reilly. He meets with us every week here on Newsmax, and you can be sure and check out his podcast daily by going to BillO'Reilly.com. He's also a New York Times best-selling author, so be sure and check out his latest book, Killing England. Nice to have you join us, Bill.
Thank you, Miranda.
So, as you know, the House just passed this $1.3 trillion spending bill. It now heads over to the Senate. The president didn't get this funding for the border wall, but apparently Chuck Schumer is supposed to get some funding for this tunnel, this gateway project, if you will, that links New York City to New Jersey. Now, all indications are that the president plans to sign the bill. My question to you is, should he?
Well, he almost has to, in the sense that his agenda is tied into spending. So the military is this big cause, and he promised to restore the military to its former glory, if you want to use that phrase. It takes money, and a lot of money is allotted to veterans in the military in this bill. Border wall, not so much, but there is some. It's a symbolic gesture. The tunnel that you mentioned, he objects to, the president objects to, because he believes the states of New York and New Jersey are not putting enough money themselves. It shouldn't be on the federal government to fund the entire tunnel. But it's needed in the infrastructure of this country. So I think that he'll sign the bill. Conservatives are angry because it is a very, very expensive proposition to run this government these days. And our debt is now $21 trillion, and that's going to come back to hurt the country.
I also want to talk about the president's lead lawyer in the Mueller probe. As you know, John Dowd resigned from that legal team. What's the impact of his resignation?
Well, I think that Joe DeGenova, the new lawyer that the Trump people hired this week, is going to take the lead. So Dowd stepped out. Now, DeGenova is aggressive, good with the media, will probably do a lot more PR than Dowd did. And that's needed if the president wants to keep his image intact for his base. So you don't want his base to erode. Hearts and minds, it's, pretty much Americans are settled on Donald Trump, good or bad. But DeGenova is a pretty tough guy, knows the area. So he's basically replacing Dowd as the head counsel.
Now, you've said time and time again that you said it's becoming increasingly more obvious that the president did not actively seek help from Russia when it came to winning the presidential election, despite that fact, as you know, his opponents are trying desperately to sell that premise. But you say the odds are working against them. How is that?
Well, because of the Inspector General of the Justice Department's report, which should be out, in the next few weeks. If that report undermines the investigation, as everybody believes it will, or they wouldn't have fired Andrew McCabe, the associate FBI director, if the Inspector General's report says, the investigation into Hillary Clinton email and the Russian collusion wasn't done in a fair, professional way, Mueller's case goes up in smoke. So I believe that what we know so far does not point to any direct collusion between Donald Trump, his campaign, and Russia. Now, I could be wrong, Miranda. I'm basing this on evidence presented so far. But it looks to me like it's going to be ancillary stuff surrounding it. A few, lied to the FBI here, and, somebody did something there. But I think the hate Trump movement is going to be very disappointed when Mueller's report finally comes out.
I also want to talk about another story that's been gaining a lot of traction, this brawl that's been going on, if you will, between former Vice President Joe Biden and President Trump. The vice president was speaking in Miami, basically attacking the president, saying that he would take someone like that, and if he were in high school, and beat him up behind the gym, if you will, and I'm paraphrasing here. And then the president then went after Biden, attacking him on Twitter, saying crazy Joe Biden is trying to act like a tough guy. Actually, he is weak, both mentally and physically, and yet he threatens me for the second time with physical assault. Just want to ask you, what is your take on the optics of all of this?
It's just ridiculous. Look, both men are flamboyant. Both Biden and Trump are flamboyant. But the former vice president and the current president, don't you guys have better things to do? I hope you do.
Yeah.
You know, it's just, it makes the United States kind of look small in the eyes of the world, and I wish this stuff would stop.
Yeah, I think a lot of people would agree with you on that. Bill O'Reilly, thank you so much for your time today. Always a pleasure to have you.
You're welcome, Miranda.
Coming up, Broward County schools issue new safety measures for students. Plus, new video released of the driverless Uber crash. We'll have all of that and more for you in our domestic roundup after the break.